Well, thank you all for joining us today for WSAC's Lunch and Learn series. We are really excited to bring to you today a new program that WSAC is launching for WSAC Fleet and Equipment Services. And joining us today is Jaden Topham and Bodie Taylor from our operating partner, Unified Fleet Services. The purpose of this program is to provide our members with a new tool. It's really to use our collective bargaining power to get you a new option, a new tool to acquire basically any vehicle or equipment, yellow iron equipment that you need to do your services and reduce your costs, improve your efficiencies, make your workflow easier. Um, and and we're just really excited to get this launched. Um, One thing I want to emphasize is that this is an option for you. You don't have to sign on for anything that is for all or anything. So it's an option for you to be used alongside your traditional procurement processes. But it should be able to find some solutions for any county needs. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jaden, who is going to be doing today's presentation. Please ask questions that you might have. If we don't have them right now, we will certainly follow up and get you more later. And of course, this recording will be available after the meeting. So Jaden, I'll let you take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Derek. I'll just share my screen here and then I'll give a little introduction of myself. Let's see. And can everyone see that right there? You probably see Derek. We'll take him down. Can everyone see that presentation all right?
Looks
Yes.
like it.
Okay,
Looks good.
sweet.
Looks good.
So as Derek mentioned, my name is Jaden Topham. Little information about me. So I'm 22 years old. I got married last October to my wife, Janae. And then I currently live in Cedar City, Utah. I've worked for Unified Fleet for a little over a year now. And I'm very excited to be taking part in rolling out this new program for the fleet and equipment for Washington counties. I think that Derek touched on this just a little bit, but a common misconception when we present this this tool is people think that this is set in place to replace their role within the county or their job, when it's the complete opposite. It's meant to be a tool and a service that you guys can use to improve your fleet, become more efficient, and overall see the cost savings. This first slide right here talks about the 4 points of the WSAC Fleet and Equipment Program. I really think this should be changed to our 4 perks because they really are great advantages to using this fleet program. The first one is procurement. So obviously government gets great concessions when it comes to vehicles, heavy machinery, and stuff like that. So those concessions combined with our buying power is going to enable you to receive the best price when it comes to the vehicle, along with the best interest rate. The second point and perk is the liquidation. As many of you probably know, your vehicles and equipment typically get sent to surplus or on auction websites where then the public can get on and highest bidder wins that bid. Whereas on the WSAC Fleet Program, we're taking your vehicles and equipment to the open market. And as you can see right here, we use dealers, brokers, public buyers, and even the OEM buyback programs to enable you guys to get not just the highest bid, but the highest value out of that vehicle on the resale. I'm going to talk a little bit more about financing on the next slide. But when it comes to financing, we know that every county has their budget. And so we provide many lease options. And there's different abilities that you guys will have to offset the costs so that it makes it even more affordable to get into leasing and to modernize your fleet. This right here is something that we really pride ourselves on, is the service. And I hope that you guys can see this as a great tool. I, for one, since I'm going to be taking the lead and helping you guys learn more about this new tool, I want to be very responsive and reliable when it comes to answering all of your questions and helping you guys throughout this entire process. So we really pride ourselves on service. This right here are some of the highlights of the program. So when I mention, very flexible leasing terms, you'll see that with your lighter fleet, more like your admin, pickup trucks, things like that, it's typically a 3-year lease, anywhere from 3 to 5, depends on the situation. But as you'll see as well, we can do large and specialty equipment that can be leased up to 15 years. When you talk to most leasing companies, they only do your light fleet. Whereas with the WSAC fleet program, you guys are going to have the ability to lease any type of equipment or vehicle across all of your departments. I think the best example of this we've had recently in Washington is we've talked about ferries and what that would look like on a lease program. So there's really no limit to what you can or can't lease. This next highlight is the customization and upfitting. You guys know exactly what you need to operate within your county when it comes to vehicles and equipment. So we're not going to put any stipulations on the upfitting and tell you can have this light, but you can't have that. And the entire upfitting cost is also rolled into the lease payments because those upfits can get very costly, as many of you probably know. The financial flexibility. One thing that I want to mention, and we've already touched on how rotating your fleet every couple years is going to be the most efficient. And we'll touch a little more on the life cycle of a vehicle and what that looks like here in a minute. But one thing that I want to talk about is that you guys are on title of the vehicles. This gives you guys the control to rotate your fleet and have more input as to what you want it to look like when it comes to your vehicles. Most leasing companies hold title of the vehicles and make it very hard to exit their program or change vehicles around, or when it comes to the customization of them. That also brings me to my last point here, is that it's very easy to exit our program. Although we hope you love it and want to stay and utilize the tools that we offer, the only thing that's required is an upfront payoff to own the vehicles outright, and that's it. There's no exiting fees. There's no fees when we liquidate your vehicles for you or anything like that. So no surprises when it comes to exiting the program. This slide right here, I would say, is the hot topic when it comes to leasing versus buying outright with cash. When you purchase a vehicle or a piece of equipment with cash, as this sentence says right here, you trade investment returns for certainty. So you guys own the vehicle outright. When you purchase with cash, you're able to dictate how you want to maintain it, how long you want to have it, when you want to sell it. And in my eyes, these are all great things. But at the end of the day, you guys are left with a depreciating asset that sometimes are forgotten. And when you go to sell them, they have no value. I can't tell you how many counties I've talked to that have their vehicle and equipment graveyard, they call it, where they just have vehicles that aren't being used and equipment that's not being used that's just sitting there and depreciating. Versus leasing, you're able to preserve your capital, so you're not paying into something that's just going to depreciate. You're preserving it by paying the interest and depreciation, but you're also getting the flexibility on the WSAC fleet program to decide when you want to rotate your vehicles, how you want to maintain them, and all of those other benefits. And there also is always an option to own the vehicle outright, like I mentioned. You can buy the vehicle outright at any point and own it, and it's completely yours. Maintenance savings, I'll touch on that more in just a second here, but obviously with a new vehicle comes a full warranty. And so anything major will be covered within that OEM manufacturer warranty. And so you're going to be covered there with new vehicles, thus, diminishing your maintenance savings. improving your maintenance savings, but diminishing your maintenance costs. And then, as I touched on a little bit right here, there's very few counties that are able to fund every single department solely using cash. And so the idea behind this is, rather than putting all of your money into something that's depreciating, this frees up your capital and your budget so much more to where you can relocate that money in order to grow your county rather than to something that's depreciating. I'm going to stop right there and open it up for any questions if anyone has any.
Looks like none so far, or at least I'm not seeing any hands go up.
Okay, well, we can keep going, and then I'll open up one more time at the end for more questions. So this right here is the life cycle of a vehicle. Obviously, the second that you purchase a vehicle, drive it off the lot or order it in, whatever that might be, the value of that vehicle starts to decline. Along with that, you see that your fuel expense is going to go up due to you're going to get worse gas mileage, and then also right here you can see that your maintenance is going to climb drastically over the years. Right here is the traditional government replacement timeline. So most counties are replacing their vehicles around the 7 to 10 year mark, and then for their equipment, even longer than that. And so the idea behind leasing is to optimize your fleet. Thus, you're selling the vehicle while it still has a lot more value, and you're not running into these, fuel spend and your maintenance problems like that. And then this line right here, you can see is decommissioning. What that means is this is the money that you guys, money and time, realistically, that you guys are paying to take all of the accessories, all the lights, all the outfitting off of these vehicles to then try and sell them through surplus. Whereas with the WSAC Fleet and Equipment Program, we sell all vehicles and equipment with the outfit intact and on the vehicles. Things like your radios, camera systems, if it's law enforcement, stuff like that will be rolled over to the next vehicles, but everything else will be sold as is. And we can get anywhere from 10 to 15% more out of that vehicle selling it that way rather than paying to decommission it. And then this right here, we handle the work. Like I mentioned before, this is a tool for you guys to use. We're not here handling your jobs, but we're handling all of the in-between nitty-gritty work that would otherwise be very time-consuming. So we obviously are watching the market constantly. We know when the best time to trade your vehicles is going to be, and we're going to be constantly giving our input as to what we think on each case by case. Along with the ordering and procurement. Lots of paperwork involved in that process as well. And so we want to, lighten your load when it comes to ordering and procurement, along with the upfitting. Oftentimes you go back and forth with, an upfitter trying to dial in what you want on the vehicle as well. Very time consuming. And so we want to help you guys coordinate that so you guys are more efficient. And then the delivery and trade-in as well. Each vehicle is delivered turnkey ready with exactly how you want it. And then obviously with the trade-in, we want to help you guys spend less time trying to take pictures and doing all those things to list the vehicles, and more time focused on serving your residents and fulfilling your other duties within your role. Where's a good starting point for all of this? So we've broken into two different options of how you can analyze where your fleet is at and where the best department or which vehicles you should start on the lease program first. This first right here, I recommend this to every single county, but it's our free fleet analysis. So what this does is we'll analyze your entire fleet. As you can see right here, it'll show you the average age of your entire fleet, how much equity you have in your fleet. So if you were to sell every equipment piece of equipment, every vehicle right now, what would you end up with, and then your estimated fuel spend. But it not only gives you an overview of your entire county, but it will show you by department all of these statistics right here. And another very helpful piece of information that's on this analysis is it's going to show you which vehicles are being utilized normally, which ones are overutilized, and which ones are underutilized. If you have vehicles that are underutilized, you may consider pooling some of those, and that would obviously help with the ones that are overutilized. Because otherwise, if it's underutilized, like I've mentioned, you just paid into a vehicle that you're not using, where you could have used that cash somewhere else within your county to help it grow, and vice versa with the overutilized vehicles. The other option that we can do is the custom proposal. This is more of if you have a specialty piece of equipment that you would like to, run numbers, see what terms, your monthly cost, see what the impact financially that would be over the next couple of years. We can take that, put it into a custom proposal. And it's not as detailed as the fleet analysis, but it's going to give you just a bottom line of what it would look like to lease that piece of equipment or vehicle. So that concludes that. In conclusion, we really want to be here as a tool for you guys, to help you guys free up your capital, see the maintenance savings when it comes to your fleet, and modernize and help you run an efficient fleet. This right here is all my contact information. We'll get this presentation sent out as well, and you can have all of that. But I'm here to serve you guys, to help you guys learn a little bit more about the program, and hopefully get started and start looking at some different options. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Yeah, there's a
Sorry.
chat. One in the chat, Jaden.
Oh, I can't even see the chat here.
It's
Oh,
my
let me-
question, I believe.
Yeah, Josh, go ahead. Why don't you ask it?
So is this county-wide, or can a single department within the county participate?
Yeah, so a single county single department within the county can participate. Typically, that's how people start. So, like I mentioned here with this fleet analysis, what I would 100% recommend for your county is we do this analysis, and then you can take a look at, say it's public works, and you can see exactly where you guys stand if that's where you would want to start. So wherever it's going to be the most helpful to use this, whatever department, we're able to just do department by department. It doesn't have to be necessarily the entire county.
And I would emphasize, it's not even just down to the department level. This isn't an agreement that you need to sign where all of your particular equipment would need to go through this program. It would be a way for you to evaluate it even down to the specific vehicles and machinery. So you've got options the whole time. So, for example, the state may have a particular contract that we know is just hard to beat. Our goal here is to fill the gaps. So if you can get a better deal, take that. That's your job. But if you want to take a look at numbers, that's where I think we can show you how you may be able to save by going this particular route, at least in some cases.
Okay. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks,
Yeah,
Josh.
thanks for your question.
Great question. Matt.
Perhaps I missed this early on. I'm not sure. I see this thing here. It's WSAC, Washington Association of County Fleet Management, but it sounds like it's very much a commercial operation. Who are you? And how did this agreement come about? And I probably missed it early on, or I missed a lot of emails heading into it. But how did this relationship start, and what kind of obligation does WSAC have with this? Because I keep hearing, I see the on the screen WSAC, but I keep hearing you guys. So who is who here?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Jaden, I'll take that. So thanks, Matt, for the question. So WSAC is actually, the board gave us direction to begin providing additional commercial services. And so we're in the process of launching actually three different organizations that will operate under the WSAC umbrella. One will be the for-profit company that is owned by WSAC, our association. The other new one is a C3, a charitable trust. So we're a C4 currently. That will take over our education, training, conferences, the non-advocacy portion of the role. The for-profit portion will have a number of services under it, one of which is this fleet and equipment. Another that we're launching in this year is WSAC Health. It's a health trust to offer health benefit services. And we began looking at potential finance opportunities using our collective bargaining power as counties to look at, in particular, lease financing, because we recognize that the state's local program is a very good one. And that wasn't a place that we were going to improve anything, but were there other opportunities? And that is when we, thanks to the work of our business development team, Mitch and Jessica, began discussions with Unified and how to gain their expertise on the operations side. So the agreement is between WSAC and Unified, and they will be our operating partners. So the actual operations of this program will go through Unified, and WSAC is a marketing partner for them.
Thank you, Jared. Who's making the money? I mean, because with ER&R we break even. Who's making the money? Is it WSAC? Is it Unified? Who's making the profit?
Yeah, so it's a great question. The fees that you would normally pay into like a bank or whoever for leasing or financing will come back to WSAC, and they are a commercial operation, so they obviously are making a profit as well. So the idea is to retain fees that we're already paying to banks or healthcare companies or other entities, and recapturing that and keeping it in the county ecosystem. That'll enable us to do a couple different things. One, reduce our dues. So right now we are an almost entirely dues dependent organization, which is fairly unusual for county associations nationally, or even city associations for that matter. And also to repurpose those dollars to go back to our C3 arm. That's where we are planning to expand our workforce development, training, education opportunities, and try to provide other support for our members there and employees, just to be clear.
Thanks.
Yeah, it follows kind of if you're familiar with like AWC's programs around, they have a risk management program, health trust, trying to think of what else, kind of similar to them, but it's a very similar program to what other state associations have around the country.
I have a question.
Please, go ahead.
How about maintenance of the vehicles and equipment that would be leased through Unified? Is that on the agency's responsibility?
Go ahead.
So what does your county currently do for maintenance? I'll ask you that.
We do it in-house. We have a light duty repair facility and a heavy equipment repair facility.
Okay. So we are able to offer some type of maintenance program that will be, the cost of that will be obviously built into the lease payments. My recommendation, because this is the most cost effective, is that you could continue doing whatever you're doing now. So if you're doing it in-house, I would suggest doing that. Just because it doesn't make sense for us to charge, X amount of money, per month for you guys to do routine maintenance on a new vehicle that you're only going to be doing every, 4 to 6 months. I've seen different leasing agencies that charge upwards of $120 per vehicle per month when it's, you're overpaying for something you're not using. And so I definitely love to, look at it and see what's going to be the most cost effective and efficient for your county. But we're able to do both. You can keep doing what you're currently doing, or we can offer a maintenance program that's built into the lease as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
And Jaden, you have a couple of questions in the chat.
Let me just stop sharing this and then I can see them. Just because I can't see. Okay, let's see.
Go down to the one from James from Lincoln County.
Okay, let's see. Actually, many pickups. Okay, so the website I will say is not very current right now. We're working on updating that right now. Just so you do know, James, you're able to, if there is a pickup on there and you want other options, we're able to do any make model with any vehicle you would like, not just the ones that are on the website. That goes for your heavy equipment as well. And then
I'll just add to that. When I was talking with Unified initially, I was trying to stump them, and because I wanted to see just how exhaustive it could be, and got into vehicles like aircraft, and thought that would be the place that we could stump them. Nope, turns out they can do helicopters and such. And then the members did the same when we introduced this to the board last month. And several of the ferry counties decided that they would jump in and ask if they could do ferries. Mike, who was on the call, he's the owner, did come back to us and say, in fact, I do have a supplier or suppliers we can go to for ferries. So I suspect that was the best challenge we could probably give for most of your departments. And then the other one is the best point of contact. And Jaden would be your direct point of contact. If you have any issues that pop up that you need, you can contact me directly or our business development team. Or if you can't find Jaden's contact info on the website, which we are updating rapidly, it should be there as well.
Any other questions?
Are you going to email Are you going to email the video when you're done to everybody who's signed up?
I believe Mitch will be.
Okay, I didn't write your contact.
Yeah, we can send that. We can send this out to everyone who registered for this lunch and learn.
Mm-hmm.
In a nutshell, what is the difference between Unified and a company like Enterprise?
So one of your main differences between us and Enterprise, there's a couple. Just like Derek talked about, Enterprise isn't going to be able to provide solutions for every department. They mainly just do your light fleet vehicles, whereas with Unified, not only are you going to have your light fleet, but we'll be able to do something like a ferry. Also, there are differences between the way we sell our vehicles and even the lease formatting. One big difference, and I know it's case by case. I've seen some people that have this, some people that don't with Enterprise. But with Unified, you're going to see a lot. You're not going to see a lot of fees. Like I mentioned, Enterprise is one of those that might have a maintenance fee, might have an exiting fee, might have a liquidation fee when they sell your vehicles. Whereas with Enterprise or with Unified, we don't have any of that. And Derek kind of touched on this. So the way that we make our money is obviously we charge an upfront fee that's rolled into the lease payments. But other than that, it's going to be very upfront when it comes to all of that. So those are, I would say, three of the main differences between us and a company like Enterprise. Not to say Enterprise doesn't have a good program, but I think that we provide a little bit broader of a service than them.
I'll add to that too, just for your, because I appreciate the question. We did look at Enterprise, and it was quickly apparent to me that they were not going to be a good fit for our needs for the reasons that Jaden listed there. It was also not going to be as good of a deal for our members, so higher cost. And frankly, I had some concerns about service. And that is another advantage of having the association be in an agreement like this, because We want to hear it. If you're ever not satisfied with how something is going, having an overall contract like this gives us a lot more power to ensure that our members are getting their needs met. So, we do want to hear if you ever run into a situation where you're not happy about something. But we'd heard from a couple of our members that they were not thrilled with what they got from Enterprise. So it was not something that we were going to continue pursuing after taking that first look at the two side by side. And as James notes actually, that's probably the most important thing to me. James notes in the comments that there also wasn't an option to buy the vehicles. That was really important to us, that you retain total control once you're into these, so that if you change your mind at the end and would like to keep a piece of equipment or a vehicle, you can do that. It gives you maximum flexibility and control over what you do with your fleet. That's really important to us.
And Derek, you can buy at any point throughout the lease if you decide that you need to exit at any point. With Enterprise, you cannot do that either.
Yeah. So they are very good at the car rental business, I will say. So we kind of continued to look at that, but that was another side that we did not. We have another question here from Josh. Are any law enforcement agencies in the PNW that are currently doing this?
Many law enforcement agencies in Idaho are currently using it right now. And then this kind of ties in as well to, which counties and municipalities are using it outside of Washington. So currently we're a nationwide company. We hope to be, thriving in every single state. But currently Utah, Idaho, Washington, California, Florida, Alabama, Kansas, I believe Oklahoma as well. Bodie might be able to comment. I might be missing a couple there.
Yeah, we have some in Texas. We have some in Arizona. We have them all over, but I'd say California we're really big in, and out in the Florida in that area. So
would it be
definitely large in the law
possible to get a list of some of the places that are using it so I could reach out and maybe contact them and see what their thoughts are?
Yeah, of course.
Any Idaho, California, Oregon, Washington, any of those would be great.
Okay. If you want to just shoot me an email, Josh, after, just so I have your info, and then I'll get that together for you.
I appreciate it.
And Marie kind of asked a related question following up. How many counties and municipalities currently use Unified outside Washington? And Unified is fairly new to Washington. This is part of the introduction. They were talking with one of our members before this, but do you know how many jurisdictions you've got at this point, Bodie? Even a roundabout?
I think we're over 200 municipalities. I'd have to get exact, but I think we're getting close to 300 just actual counties or cities. So
other questions? Well, the one thing I will add is, so not everyone in this room knows me, but prior to my time as executive director of WSAC, I was a council member in Pierce County. I don't think I see any Pierce County folks on, but they would probably laugh at this because I was sort of obsessed with our fleet program when I was a council member, because it was actually on the elected side. The electeds had been let's just say, not responsible in keeping up on the program that the staff had recommended. And in fact, at one point, even tried to remove money from the ER&R account in order to hire more deputies, which on the one hand, hiring deputies is great. Doing it by putting it on the credit card, not so good. But the great advantage of something like this, both for staff and I think for the electeds, is building a more strategic and predictable model that everyone kind of knows ahead of time what to do. And so I think that's potentially an intangible benefit is just making things a little more predictable. Jennifer asks, we currently use Enterprise in Mason County. Do you have a similar website and tracking system by vehicle? Do you have fuel management partner? How many vehicles advertise when ready to be sold? Or how are vehicles advertised when ready to be sold? So great questions. I'll let you guys take that.
So as for, I can't really speak to the enterprise website. I've heard a little bit about that. I'm assuming that's where you guys go in and see all of your vehicle data, current vehicle data. We don't have a website like that, but we are implementing more tracking. I know we've been looking into companies like Samsara more recently for tracking systems. Truthfully, Jennifer, my take on this is if there's a service that Enterprise is offering that you guys really want built into your lease program, this is where our flexibility is coming in. We would want to do everything in our power to offer that service. Like I mentioned, you guys need some of these things to operate. And so it doesn't make sense to switch to something that's not going to be beneficial in that aspect. So we would want to do our best to help provide the same exact perks and services that you have with Enterprise with us. We're going to be significantly cheaper than Enterprise when it comes to the upfront lease and all these other costs. And so why would you not want to switch to something that's going to be more cost effective while still keeping the same quality and perks? So that's that. And then as for the vehicles, Bodie actually does a lot of the advertising and resale of the vehicles. But how it does work is we have a software called Pave, which is just a link. We can send as many, you can do as many as you would like, but it takes pictures of all angles of the vehicle. And then from there, we can send that out to dealer partners. If surplus is going to be the best, then we could go that route. But really, we use that to send out to different dealers, get multiple quotes. Whoever comes in highest is going to give you the most for that vehicle. That's what we'll want to go with. So that's how they're generally advertised. Hopefully, I covered all of your questions there. What are upfront fees per vehicle or percent of vehicle cost? So it's really just going to depend per vehicle. It's not necessarily a set cost or percentage because vehicles vary from makes and models and upfit. So what I would recommend if you're wanting to just see, upfront what it's going to cost is to do our custom quote. So that's what I would recommend there if you're wanting to just see the overall cost of that.
One of the bottom there is, does Unified handle the warranty work scheduling?
I think Bodie should speak more to that. I don't believe we do. We might. Bodie?
No, typically the county would handle the warranty work if there's any manufacturer issues within the first 3 years, 36,000 miles. That's typically how we've done it. We don't typically get in and handle that. You would reach out to your local dealer and handle it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not seeing any other questions in the chat or hands going up. One thing I didn't mention that I should have is that WSAC is currently working with one of our members to establish a lead agency contract. We're hoping to get that out to bid here soon so that if you so choose, you could use that to piggyback on their contract, utilize services, assuming that that we're the successful bidder. The other option is to do your own or work through a cooperative. And Bodie, you mentioned to me what the cooperative was that you were talking about earlier today.
Yeah, so we are on MPP Gov. So we are a approved vendor on MPP Gov, which is based out of Oregon, is kind of where they do it. But a lot of people up in that area have or use MPP. If not, it's very easy to sign up and see all the information on the website. And we could send a link out that you could see that if interested as well.
All right. I'm not seeing any other questions. If you do have any further feedback, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, or as we noted, we've got Jaden's contact info for direct operational questions. But if you have any questions or feedback on how this would all work, I'm happy to field those. And with that, I want to thank you for joining us and taking time out of your lunch. And hopefully we will see some of you soon to be talking with you and your teams.
Thank
Have
you.
a great one.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thanks,
Appreciate
everyone,
it.
for the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.